Good afternoon, friends. How's it going? Click. We got the shit shield out today. Always got to we got to make sure every once in a while that we activate our shit shields. It's just the way it is. So we do have this mug. I just have to, every once in a while I have to use it, but we do have this mug in our mug shop. The mug shop's right there. So if you wanted to get one, it's pretty awesome. Wouldn't it be amazing if we all had one? Click. So you'll see why. I think the our spirit guides wanted us to have the shit shield out today because of the spiritual message that they gave me today. So I've got a spiritual message and a political prediction. They said it was a prediction. I don't know what to tell you about the political predictions, but we're going to be able to look back 6 months from now and we'll look at them and it'll be very interesting. Okay. So we're just going to go with it because our spirit guides want us to know this and we're going to trust them because that's what I do. I'm working with my spirit guides now so that I can trust them. I'm not going to trust them sometimes and not trust them others. Okay. So I would encourage you to kind of think about doing the same thing. What I found interesting, I have a couple things I wanted to share in terms of love winning, which that have to do politically. There's a couple things that I think are kind of interesting. And then, like I said, I have a spiritual message, a political predictions, and those came from using the pendulum. So they spelled out some messages for me. And then we've got some oracle cards, of course. But I wanted to share, I thought this was interesting from someone from the community. And this is not a diss on that person from the community, but I think it's interesting to think about for all of us as we are strengthening and developing our relationship with our spirit guides and following our intuition, which is what I believe that the spirit guides are guiding us. So when your intuition tells you to do something or you feel excited about something, that's your guide saying, yes, go in that direction. But if you feel a little or a little heavy about a decision, that's your guide saying, you might be a little off track here. Okay. So that's always what we're trying to do in this community is follow our intuition. Okay. When you get triggered by something I say, by something anybody says, right? I would definitely take a look at that trigger to find out where, because I get triggered too. It just depends, but take a look at what that trigger is all about. So is that trigger guidance from your spirit guide saying that is not a right thing for you? Or is it a shadow that needs to come up and be looked at? It's hard to know, right? And so it's worth, if you think about putting a little time into your spiritual work, if you haven't done that. I did not do that for years when I was working in higher ed, and I didn't find the time to do that, So if you can edge out some time in your day, even if it's like every other day, whatever you can do, then I think it would be really helpful for you because you could look at your triggers, right? It's looking at those and trying to decide, am I triggered by this because of an old pattern, because of old way of thinking? Am I triggered by this because I've been hurt by something like this in the past? Am I triggered by this because it's something I just don't believe in? Well, then the question is why? Where did that belief come from? Okay. Or am I, like I said, I personally, and you'll have to let me know what you think, I don't think our guides will trigger us. I don't think they're going to put us, I trust that my guides are going to gently coach me along, but I don't think they're going to put the like a huge amount of fear in me. Unless it's like a fight or flight situation where they're like, nope, we need to protect you right now. Get the hell out of that situation. Do you know what I mean? But I do think from a day-to-day basis, like if I'm watching YouTube or whatever and there's a message and I'm like, you know what I mean? But I don't think they're going to be like, oh my God, Karen, don't listen to that message. Okay. So I think that when you feel so triggered, there is something else going on there. That's just I'm not a counselor. I'm not, this is just from my experience and kind of what I'm understanding with my spirit guides and understanding the other realm, like what how they're helping us. Okay. A lot of it is coming from the book that we're reading in the Spirit Circle right now. If you haven't read this book, it's really good. Let Your Spirit Guide Speak. So I'll have a link for it in the description if you want to check it out. So anyways, I guess I would just, I think we all need to look at our triggers. Like I was triggered yesterday. I was triggered inside myself because I was feeling like I had too much to do. Okay. And so I took a day off of recording and I worked on a sales page and I worked on an email that I sent out. If you're part of our newsletter, you would have gotten an email from me. For the most, yeah, you should have gotten an email from me. It depends on where you are in the weekly email system, so I got that done. But then my sister and I had this amazing conversation last night about how to, because I was feeling triggered all day. I'm like, it's a little different of a trigger than what I'm going to explain in terms of a comment somebody had made on in the community. But this was more like it was more like anxiety, let's just say, like sitting on my chest, like this heaviness sitting on my chest. And I'm like, what is that? Like, what is the deal? And so I do think that my spirit guides were like trying to say, or my personality or whatever is trying to say when I have that heaviness on my chest, something is off. What is off here? Okay. And I'm really trying to pay attention to that. And thank goodness my sister Marcia, who's running our channel with me, and our two nephews, her two sons, thank goodness she's so open to hearing me constantly. And in keeping in mind my personality type, I'm a extroverted feeler. So extroverted feelers extrovert their feelings. And she's an introverted thinker, so she can sit and listen. Sometimes she can't give a response right away because she does have to think about it, but she can put things in perspective. For me, I can put things in perspective too, but when I'm emotional, then when you're having an emotional trigger or something, or you're feeling anxiety, it's much harder for feelers to figure that out when you're going through, it's not a crisis for what I was going through, but something like that. So anyway, so then I was able to extrovert my feelings. She was able to hear it. And so we put some structure into my work day that I couldn't see how to do myself. Okay. Because I'm trying to, do all these different things. Right. And so I couldn't see that myself. And it was just so helpful. So now lifted, right? So I do feel like my guides were like, you know what? The way you're doing it right now is not going to get you to the end result of what you want in your life, depending on what it is that I've been asking for. Okay. So they put this heaviness in my chest. So what I know to do is not wait too long before I try to figure out what that is. All right. So the trigger that I'm talking about was someone in the channel, which, this is a different kind of situation, but like we did a session. So Marcia just told me about this last night, but we did a session. I did 2 sessions, and we have part 3 and 4 actually, on talking to the SGs about God. So we actually called in God, okay, which is amazing. I loved those. And there's so many good comments. Like people are like, this was awesome. I loved it too. Like I was like, whoa, because I'm learning just along with everybody. And so, and like I said, I'll put the part 1 and 2 right here. After this video, they'll pop up right here. Okay, you'll see them. So anyway, so someone who has been in our community, she said, oh, I've been in your community since December, but you went way too far on this one. And the only reason I'm not bringing this up for you to defend the fact that I talked with God, I'm bringing this up because she was highly triggered. She was like swearing in the comments and like totally appalled at me that I would do that. But our first reaction was, and again, this has to do with our trusting. Our first reaction was, well, people talk to God all the time. Like, isn't that what you do when you pray? Like, don't people talk to God all the time? So the fact that I couldn't call him in and have a conversation, it's just really interesting. So that person, and this is just an example, everybody gets triggered by stuff, right? It's just an example. No reason to defend me or defend her in the comments. It's just an example. Okay. So, but it's like looking at the triggers and when to follow those as something that's in you, that's been like taught to you, some conditioning, and kind of releasing those. So rather than like reacting to other people with your triggers, I would encourage you to go inward and ask your guides to help you understand what are those triggers about. Okay. So actually, I'm going to give you the spiritual message right now because this kind of leads into it. And I think that'd be really good. And then I'll tell you a few of the love wins things when it has to do with politics when I get to the political prediction. I'm just going to kind of flow into that. But I will say real quick, so my sister, she didn't tell me, she secretly bought some dowsing rods. I have been using dowsing rods for about 10 years. And she's always been calling me saying, hey, ask the guides this or that or whatever. So since we started this community, she got her own dowsing rods. And we haven't had time to talk about it, but they've been working for her. And the pendulum's working, but slowly, she said. And so she's got the names of her guides now. And yesterday she was telling me a story about someone in her family, a 4-year-old who was very sick in her family. And she had said that I asked Gigi right away, Gigi is her mother-in-law, and she's in spirit, go and take care of that situation, like help him, okay? And the minute my sister started telling that, her and I both got just full body chills. We were like, oh my God, like, I'm not kidding you. I was like showing her my hair. I'm like, my hair was just standing up. So we know that Anne was just like, right now I do too. And she feels like a very powerful, she just passed like, I don't know, 4 months ago or something. She's a very powerful energy. So we both immediately when she was telling me that, and then the child had gotten out of the hospital like 2 days later, and it was a pretty serious thing. So anyways, now the really funny thing, and then I'm going to give you the spiritual message. So as somebody in the community had said to me in a comment, so when I do this, when I use this, I'm trying to find the A. So when I use this, I usually use a pendulum like this, okay? So for them to move or whatever. And somebody had said, well, couldn't you use the dowsing rods for them to move, right? And I was like, so her and I were talking about this last night, and I'm like, I don't know. Can I? So I've already said the prayer today, so I'm not going to say it at this moment, but so I was like, well, we were dying laughing. It was so funny. Okay. So I was like, well, I don't know. So I pull out the rods and I was like, well, can you guys go diagonally? Because, obviously to do this, they'll have to go like up this way and up that way. They've only gone this way for me. So yes and no. So they go immediately. I was like, okay, let's see if they do it now. But can you guys go diagonally for me? I mean, look at that. We were dying laughing. And you know what? That alone I just thought, oh my God, I can never doubt you. Look at that. They just totally went diagonally. Okay, can you guys go diagonally the other way now? It was a little slower when they went diagonally the other way, but I thought, well, this will take really long for us. But they were really able to, okay, there they go. They're starting. The right side, why is it easier for you guys to lift the right side up? Can you guys see that? See the difference? I'm going to lower my hands so they look like they're even. Okay, can you guys do the right side again? The right side was so obvious. When we were talking yesterday, it just went whoop up into the corner. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I can see it from my angle. Can you see the difference? Oh my God, there they go. Okay. Anyways, we were dying laughing. So I thought, the minute they just went like that, but I don't think the dowsing rods are as fast. I'll try it, but because they're so much longer with the pendulum, I can see right away which letter they're getting to. Anyways, that was funny. Okay, so good job, Marsh. Wow. Look at her being all spiritual. Okay, so spiritual message. Spiritual message. Okay, we got to listen to them. Now, just a reminder, our spirit guides are called the Lead Team Collective. Okay, the spirit guides for this community, which means your spirit guides are a part of this community. They're a part of the Lead Team Collective if you're hanging out in this community. Okay. All right, so this was the message for us. So we're going to take a listen. They want to know, why are you nuts? That's what they spelled out for me. Why are you nuts about Trump? That's what they want to know. And I said, well, what do you suggest? And I bet you can intuit right now what they suggested. Can you tell me what they suggested before I show you? What would they tell you to do? So why are you nuts about Trump? If you need to take a pause right now, take a deep breath. I want you to start using your intuition. You could probably guess it just using your brain. This is what they want us to do. And I know this is going to be hard for some people to hear because they're like, well, I don't know how to let it go. But also, oh, there, I just gave it to you. They want us to let it go. Okay? Let it go. Stop being nuts about Trump. Stop being nuts about him. I'm totally not nuts about him. That doesn't mean you can't, do your thing, So you guys, so I've already said the prayer, you guys. So just for the sake of today, I'm going to just not say it. I always say it when I'm preparing for getting the pendulum message and all that. Okay, you guys. So I'm talking to the Leave Team Collective. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. So when you're asking us to let it go, you're asking us why you're for the people who are nuts about Trump, which means like staying in that state of anger. Is that correct? Yes. Staying in a constant state of annoyance. Yes. Okay. So you want us to work on letting that anger and the annoyance go. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. Do you also want us to completely ignore it as citizens of if you're a citizen of the United States or the world? I mean, there's protests going on. Okay, so that doesn't mean ignoring it. But here's the thing. This is my suggestion. If you can't come to center around this issue and let go of being nuts about it, then I would, for the time being, not pay attention. Just know when a protest is and go to the protest, but don't pay attention to anything else. Is that a suggestion that you would have for people who are having a hard time separating the anger versus the civil duty type of thing? Yes. Okay. Okay, so just a thought about that. That's interesting. So why are you nuts? Who's nuts here? Raise your hand. Admit it. Who's nuts? Who's nuts about Trump? Okay, so they asked me to use this deck. They asked me to use two decks here, actually. Even though I'm always like, can you just give me one card? Okay, so what do you guys want to tell us? What do you want to tell us more? That's too many. Okay, so let's see. What do you want to tell us about you are just nuts about Trump? You are just nuts about Trump. Or no, why are you just nuts? Why are you nuts about Trump? Okay. That's too many. Too many. All right, let's see if it's one of these. All right, I got 5 cards in front of me, so. All right, let's see if we can get some good guidance, okay? Are the cards you want me to have in front of me? Yes. Are there any others in the deck you want me to pull? No. Okay. What about the far right? Number 1? No. Number 2? Yes. Number 3? No. Number 4? No. Number 5? No. So just number 2? Yes. Okay. All right. Because I actually have the other deck. They wanted me to get 2 messages. One from the Letting Go deck. Does that surprise you? The Letting Go deck. Okay, so this is your message for all of us about why are you nuts about Trump, okay? Freedom. So there's different guides in this deck. Oh, and it's a 9. That's awesome. So what that tells me is that this is a 9 is an ending. It's an ending, a completion number. So it tells me that we're going to find some freedom. Okay, so the freedom in is if you can let go. Why are you nuts about Trump? If you can let that go, you're going to find freedom. There's some completion there for you. Okay. Hey, who doesn't want the freedom? We all do. Like, that's how I felt yesterday when I told you that story about that heaviness on my chest. I refuse to feel heaviness in my chest anymore for more than like 4 hours if I can get it resolved. Okay, liberation, escape, expansion, or flight. Your runner guide's message to you, you are not trapped. You are not trapped. A more fulfilling life awaits you when you let go of limiting dependencies and trust your spirits. What have we been talking about all day? And not your fears. Not your fears. I feel like that person who got triggered, and there's other people who get triggered. I mean, we all get triggered. We all get triggered. That person who got triggered about me talking about with God, what was the fear? It's like there was a limiting fear. She wasn't trusting that we could have a conversation with God. So there was some fear there. So a more fulfilling life awaits you when you let go of limiting dependencies. Dependencies. Take a look at that in your life, okay? And trust your spirit and not your fears to lead. Trust your spirits to lead. Find your courage, pay attention to your runners as they point the way, then fly. That's awesome. So we are starting the 30-day challenge. I'm going to do a really short video to put out today, also on the 30-day challenge. So we're going to start the 30-day challenge on Sunday, June 1st. So if you're not signed up for the newsletter, the QR code's right there to get more information about that. Okay, good message. Good message there about finding freedom. Who doesn't want freedom, right? Okay, so the letting go deck. Love this. This is by David Hawkins. I always have the decks that I use listed in the description, you guys, because people will ask. So they're always listed down there if you want to take a look at them. We also have a link in the description we did a call out to the community's favorite oracle decks, and there's a link to that, to everyone in the people who voted, who wrote at the time that I did the call out. So take a look at that. It's kind of fun to see what people's favorite oracle decks are. Okay, so you guys, oops, there we go. I didn't even need to ask. Is that the card you wanted us to have? Yes. Okay. All right. Ready? All right. What side do I read first? My goodness. The goal of surrender is transcendence. Our greater destiny is total freedom. There's freedom again. So they're telling us, you guys, I mean, we want freedom, right? Why are you nuts about Trump? Let it go. The goal of surrender. So basically, if we let it go, you're going to experience the freedom. Okay? That's beautiful. If you experience freedom every day, to me, that's like the ultimate way to live. If I can experience freedom. And that's like I feel it. I don't mean just like financially or whatever. If I feel the freedom, to me, that is the most glorious feeling for me, Make a decision that freedom is more desirable than having a negative feeling. I mean, how amazing that these guys, they're totally giving us the exact thing we need right now. Make a decision that freedom is more desirable than having a negative feeling. And what does this guy do? He drudges up negative feelings constantly, right? According to, your guides. If you're doing this, your guides they're telling you, we see you. We see you. Okay, so The political prediction, and I think the cards on this one, the political prediction, are going to be very interesting. They want me to use the Akashic Truth cards, which I think is going to be kind of cool. But I just wanted to mention real quick a couple of things that I've noticed. First of all, and I looked these up on Ground News, by the way. We use Ground News only here because it gives you center articles. It also tells you bias on news. So if I hear news, I always go to Ground News now. If you do, we're not sponsored by them, but we signed up as an affiliate. So because you get 40% off if you use our link. So, I mean, 40% off, we were like, yeah, that's amazing. So businesses can do that. So I thought, well, we'd get 40% off and then you get 40% off. So that's awesome. So anyways, I went on to Ground News. Have you guys heard about taco? So this is to me love winning because I just think it's funny. So Wall Street now calls Trump, they're calling it taco trade. Okay, taco trade. I don't know if you've heard this, but Trump, of course, is not happy about it. But basically, analysts have coined the acronym TACO, meaning Trump always chickens out. You know what? We're going to put taco. Oh my God. All right, you guys, I'm doing this. You watch for a taco. Watch for a taco and a big old taco with his hairline on it on a mug. It's got to happen. I need one of those because I think it's so funny. Trump always chickens out, and it has to do with the tariffs, you know. So speaking of tariffs, so the next really good news, this is love winning. So I find this so fascinating. Federal Trade Court blocks Trump from imposing sweeping tariffs under emergency powers law. He doesn't have the right to do that. It is not within his authority to tag these tariffs onto different products and countries and all this kind of stuff. It's ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. So that is love winning, and there are people paying attention. Obviously, some of the court cases are taking a while, but I'll tell you, I just found out too that and this will probably get us a little nuts about Trump right now, so I even hesitate to say it, but just try deep breath. But this is the kind of stuff that I think is going to take him down. So this woman goes to a MAGA fundraiser, pays him $1 million, and he then pardons her son, like shortly after. So that is, if that's not so illegal, plus where did the $1 million go? So this guy, he's going down. I'm sorry, allegedly and for entertainment purposes only. Give me a break. Who gets to do that? You know, who gets to do that? And so anyways, all right. So here is the political message. Do not shoot the messenger. This is coming from your guides too. Okay? Do not shoot the messenger. Trump was arrested. So why they want us to know this, I do not know. They have been prepping us for the last week. They have told us in the last week, hold on tight. They have told us, be ready to breathe. They told us nighttime today, Trump leaves. That was on the 26th. Then they said on the 27th, life got in the way. Military stopped Trump. So maybe he was trying to leave. But they have said he is arrested. Now, I have to say, like in April or something, they might have said something similar to that. I haven't gone back. I'd have to go back and see. I don't know that they said he was arrested specifically. I'd have to go back and look. But so let's see what happens. What do you guys think this means? Trump was arrested. Now, I said when, and they said May 2025 again. May 2025. So, you know, I don't know. So they want, and I asked them specifically this morning, I always ask, do you have a spiritual message for the community? Does the Lead Team Collective have a spiritual message for the community? They said yes. I said, do you have a political message for the community? And they said no. And I said, do you have a political prediction for the community? And they said yes. Okay, so that is a political prediction. And then they wanted me to use this card deck to give you more information about that. Okay, so what do you guys want us to know about Trump was arrested? Trump was arrested. So keep keeping your eyes. Continue keeping your eyes on Love Wins. I think that's Love Wins examples are a really good way to stop being nuts about Trump. That's what I'm paying attention to, is when like there's funny stories like the taco one, or the federal courts blocking, saying you can't do this. You can't do this, you know? Love it. Love it. Okay, so we got two cards. Do you guys want us to read both of those cards you just dropped? Yes. Are there any others in the deck you want me to pull? No. Okay. All right. Here are the two cards for the Trump was arrested, allegedly, and entertainment purposes only. Scattered energy. You have too much on your plate and have lost your focus. This is causing you to feel exhausted and overwhelmed. Prioritize your well-being and create a new plan. Well, what the hell does that have to do with Trump being arrested? What? Okay, so does somebody need to hear this? Obviously, I did yesterday, so we do have a new plan. But, so Trump was arrested. What does this have to do with that, you guys? What does that have to do? Let me just check. Let me see if that card is a personal card for us. So was that a card you guys wanted us to have for the previous message, for the spiritual message? Yes. Okay, so this card is for us personally. Okay. What about the next one? Is that a personal message again? No. Okay. Okay, so this one, you guys, so we needed to hear this. Scattered energy. Who's feeling scattered right now? You have too much on your plate and have lost your focus. I totally agree with that. But it took a 2-hour conversation and I'm way back on focus again. This is causing you to feel exhausted and overwhelmed. Prioritize your well-being and create a new plan. Okay, who else is feeling this way? But, you know, this kind of stuff gets in the way of that. Why are you nuts about Trump? Okay, take care of yourself first. Take care of yourself first before you can take care of society. Okay? If you're not taking care of yourself and you're going to every protest and, you know, whatever, but you're not taking care of yourself first, you got to do that first. That is, I'm requiring. This is parental Karen coming down. I'm a nice Karen, though. Did you guys hear? I haven't looked this up, though, but there was a protest in Illinois, and I want to say they did a stretch. What was that, you guys? There was like some, hang on, let me look. Wow, so this is really cool. This is a great example of love winning. It happened, you guys might have heard about it already. I just heard about it. So this happened on May 18th. A large 30-mile protest marched from Aurora to Chicago, likely on Odin Avenue. I can't remember. I used to live down there, or not down there, but I can't remember how to pronounce that. Against policies of the second Trump administration. So they literally, the organizer estimated 15 to 20,000 people participated. They had a long line from Aurora to Chicago, 30 miles. How awesome is that? I would love that. Like, can you imagine if we organized one that went all the way around the United States? That would be so cool. Okay, so the final message for today. Uh-oh, did I lose it? Oh, okay. Let me just make sure that was it. I think I put it away. You guys, is that card that I just put out, is that the card you want me to read for the Trump arrested message? Yes. Okay. All right. It was on top. So, okay. Break free. Oh, you're being asked to break free from the tribe in order to live your authentic life. This isn't easy, but it's very necessary. If you're going to share your true self with others, be brave, be real, be you, and trust that those who love you will always be there for you. What? I've had to do some of this year. But what does that have to do with Trump was arrested? What do you guys think? They said this one, break free. Is this like us breaking free from him? Although I really do like this message for us too. I love this message for us. If you want to take a picture of that so that you can remember that, if that's helpful for you. Okay, and let me know if you have any ideas about how this connects as well. I'm not intuiting something off the top of my head, but let me know what you think. Okay, you guys, I will see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.